Welcome to Advanced Data Analysis 1 with me, Erik Erhardt, Professor of Statistics at the University of New Mexico. In this video, I'll cover the website for this semester. So the course website is at statacumen.com. That's my personal website. Under the Teaching tab, ADA1. If you click there, it brings you to the most current semester, ADA1 Fall 23. That's right now. One way to help navigate the very long website is the table of contents. We are going to spend most of our time in the timetable, okay? But the syllabus is down below the timetable. We have some goals to cover the fundamental statistical methods involving 1 and 2 variables. Not just cover, that you learn them and you somewhat master them in this semester. As well as that, you're going to learn how to write code in R and make nice output documents that are easy to share and that others can reproduce. The basic content of this class, we've got a roadmap. So we're going to pretend that the course is a Tuesday, Thursday type course, even though we have no scheduled meetings. Each Tuesday and Thursday, there will be a new reading, basically a whole chapter, though the chapters are not long chapters. Almost all chapters will be accompanied by a lecture video that someone else has recorded or that I will record for our course. And along with that, there will be applets to simulate scenarios to help develop your intuition, and tutorials to help you practice R in a protected environment where someone's guiding you step by step. Each Tuesday and Thursday will begin a new chapter and will have its own set of assignments. And those assignments for Tuesday are due on Friday, and for Thursday the following Monday. So you'll have either 3 or 4 days to complete each bit of work. It's going to be a fast-paced course, but I believe that I will not overburden you with the amount of work. It's just going to be steady. I also encourage you to work ahead. It's an online course. You can work at your own pace. You could, provided that I have all the course materials prepared, you can finish the course in a month if you really dug in and worked on it, right? Or you could space it out and go at the pace that I ask you to. This is the first semester since I was hired in 2011 that I'm not using my own course materials exclusively. So we're going to use this new textbook, Introduction to Modern Statistics. It's in its 2nd edition. It's completely online and free, and it's by 2 statistics educators whom I very much admire. And I was actually writing a textbook this summer, and when I came across theirs, I decided to stop and use their materials because theirs are very, very good. We will also rely a little bit on my work that we've used in previous semesters. There are 2 websites for applets. We'll primarily be using this top one, and I'll have links to all those. In the timetable that we're going to look at in a moment, we've got each row is 1 day. Okay? We've got some course resources. This links to our Canvas website for UNM. That's where you will be turning in your exercises and your worksheets, things like that, your homework assignments effectively. I will be creating playlists of video lectures and any videos that go along with helping out with assignments. In particular, the first assignment, I will have a video walking you through using R and doing some of that introductory, an introduction to how to use R for what we're doing in RStudio. These sets of links include effectively this long homework document which we developed over in a project-based course, which is what I've been teaching since 2015. And it includes in one document all of the methods and techniques for the entire semester. So that may become a nice reference for you if we look at one of these. In particular, if you look at just the table of contents, maybe we'll skip over the research questions, but there's a section on data management, how to rename variables, code missing values, subset data, create new variables, label variables, and then how to graph and tabulate. We've got univariate methods for categorical and numeric. We've got bivariate methods. We've got statistical methods like simple linear regression, correlation, categorical tables, and we've got inference for the mean, for the proportion, 1 and 2 sample stuff, non-parametrics, analysis of variance, okay, two-way categorical tables. This is all the stuff we're going to learn in this semester. Logistic regression, and then a poster presentation which won't apply to you. Okay, so in here, if I was wondering, well, how do I code missing values? Well, there's different ways depending on what type of missingness I have, but usually you want to code a labeled number to an NA. So you just click on that, it will jump you down, and it will show you an example of, here's a table with some missing values, and we're going to run this code where we replace our coded 9s with NA, which means not available, and then those missing values go away, no more 9s. Okay, so anyway, that could be a very valuable resource over the semester. In the timetable, we've got a row for each class. So for example, Tuesday's class 1, we've got a chapter. Let me make sure I get the headings up here. So the date, the class number, the chapter that you're to read, any videos, tutorials, or applets will be covered here, and then in this last column, any exercises or worksheets for you to turn in. Okay, so for the first day, you've got a couple videos, a tutorial to walk through some R code, using working with data, and then we've got exercises which are from the textbook. Okay, so I will open the textbook in a new tab, but I'm going to ask you to practice a set of exercises. Those are not to turn in, but those are for you to review yourself and work through. And I'm going to have you turn in 3, which will be graded in this first assignment. These to turn in will be, you'll turn them in at UNM Canvas. So if we scroll up, it'll be at this link here. There'll be an assignment there for exercises, and you'll answer the questions right there. If I was in your position, I would probably open a text editor or Word document or whatever, or even use paper and go to the course chapter. So here's the book website. The chapters here are on the left. Within each chapter, we've got sections in this table of contents on the right. I'm just going to click down on the exercises, which will jump down about halfway down the page. And number 1 is the first one to practice, and the question is, how many observations and how many variables does this data frame have? And I would write out those answers, and then when you're done doing all the exercises, then go to UNM Canvas and submit those answers by copying and pasting would be the easiest thing to do. Similarly, there's going to be a worksheet for the first assignment. The QMD, I'll have a separate video on this, but you'll download the Quarto document, you'll render it or compile it in R Studio, and it will create an HTML file, and you will answer the questions in the Quarto file, and then you'll print the HTML to PDF and then turn in the PDF file. Okay, and I will have a video for that. This is going to change when you go look at the website. And so there's on Thursday there's something different. You can see I still have some preparation to do. All the red text is stuff that I haven't yet completed. All right, but there's a row for every day of the semester. We have a fall break in October, and we have a Thanksgiving break in November. And historically, I do not have finals, but we'll see. You're all screaming at me right now. No final. historically, we have had poster sessions in the last week of class. We will not have that for an online course. All right. In this semester, we're going to be using software R. R is a language that was developed from S, which John Chambers wrote when he was at Bell Labs 30 or so years ago. There's many statistics languages that you could program in. You could program in SAS or SPSS or Stata. I guess they all begin with S. Minitab. But we're going to use R. You could even do analysis in Python, right? You can do a statistical analysis, anything. You could use a pocket calculator. But R is very powerful and designed bespoke for statistics. It's a functional programming language. It's a fully fledged programming language. So it's got everything you could need for statistics, but it allows you to do anything. You can solve any problem in R. So we are going to use R. You will need to install. I will create a separate video for this, for install R on either your Windows or Mac machine. If you're on Linux, God bless you. If you're not on the current version of R, I ask you to upgrade. There's a video for how to do those things. After you've installed R is the core functional part. Then there's RStudio, which is a wrapper. So you want to install RStudio to make the environment not only common between Windows and Mac, but also very functional, very useful. And then Quarto is the modern way of compiling Markdown documents into other formats like HTML or PDF. So we'll install that as well. I've got instructions for installing some packages. You'll make sure that everything works, and then you'll set up your computer so that it's more friendly to programming. I'll cover all that in a separate video. If you've got a Chromebook, then you can run RStudio Cloud. I have had one student do that a few years ago, and it was fine. I think you'll have better experience if you have a laptop. If you don't have access to a laptop, I think that R is installed on computers around the university. But this is an online class, so you're probably not coming to the university. So anyway, if you don't have the resources, please contact me right away, and let's try to figure out a solution. Okay. There are also some links here for studying R on your own. Some of these are quite good. So learning R is a long process, just like any programming language. I recommend to all of you that you take at least one programming class in your life, because doing applied statistics is partly computer programming, and those who are most successful at statistics not only understand statistics very well, but also are masters of the machine. All right. The rest of the web page is primarily dedicated to the syllabus. Okay. I ask that you there is a prerequisite of introductory statistics. Some of you may not have that or have that from another university. You should have already contacted me to be enrolled in this course to give you an override for that. I usually override even if you have not had that, but I make it your responsibility to be successful. You have to get your own preparation. It is an online max arranged class. We will have no scheduled meeting times in this class. I do recommend that you visit me and the teaching assistants during office hours just to say hi and also to get all the support that you need in the class. I ask you to send me emails, and in the subject line start each one with ADA1. If you have multiple questions, I recommend sending them as separate emails so that I can treat each one individually. Okay, if they're sort of all related, that's okay. So keep them in one email. Please don't send me email or messages in UNM Canvas. I'm not going to be very responsive there. We've got 2 teaching assistants this year, Bazad and Azada. They're both excellent. We were going to fill out this table with a bunch of office hours. And in an email, not from this date, but I'm going to send you an email that basically has the same subject line for announcements. There will be Zoom links in there for the three of us. All right. Historically, well, these are the learning outcomes for the course, but historically I used to take a poll to see what learning outcomes people found important. I'll invite you to read through these so that you have a sense of what I think is important for you to learn. Students who have answered these questions for what they felt were important, the most important has been number 8, which is learning to program in R. So I suspect many of you are also in that boat, knowing that programming is an important part of doing statistics, applied statistics. Okay. I have not yet worked out the assessment, but this will all change so that you know how your grades are going to be calculated. Please don't cheat in the class. You know, it's terrible for everyone if you do cheat. I hate it. You hate it. What I will ask is that first I'll tell you that in this course, almost everyone gets A's. Okay, about 2/3 of the class will get A's. The other third will get B's, and the handful of people who do not fit into those will get C's and fail because they didn't really participate and start from the beginning and work. Okay, I think you don't even need to work very hard in this class to do very well. But if you do, you know, in learning, I'm a pilot. As a flight instructor, I'm not a flight instructor yet, but as a flight instructor, there's something called the law of primacy, which is the way you learn it first is how you'll learn it the strongest. It will make the strongest impression, and you're likely to. It's hard to unlearn habits at the beginning. So what I will recommend is if this is early in your statistics career, either as someone who's majoring in statistics or taking statistics because it's an important component of being a scientist or other role that you're going to fulfill, that you work hard and you learn it very well the first time, because you will then have all those skills from the beginning the way they should be. Okay? Okay. All that to say is if you make an effort, you're going to do well in this class. Okay? Now, if you find yourself in a situation where cheating seems like the only option to succeed, talk to me. Okay? That is not the way to succeed. I have accommodated many students throughout my career to help them pass a class when they've struggled, whether it's been personal issues or just general issues. Whatever issues you have, I can probably find a way to accommodate it so that you can probably pass the class and it's sort of fair. And, you know, I don't give out A's or B's. I don't give out passing grades. But if we can work something out where making an effort on your part will result in not failing. Okay. There are a bunch of university statements down here. I'll just summarize that the university, and I would say New Mexico more generally, cares about each of you, and we want you to succeed, and we are going to provide the resources that you need to succeed. Okay, so that's all this stuff is saying. In terms of expectations, I would plan on a minimum of 9 hours per week to learn the course material and complete assignments. Okay, that's a minimum. Maybe it takes you 12 hours or 15 hours. Okay, so we have 2 assignments, 2 chapters and 2 assignments each week. Each chapter you might think of as being a lecture, so that's an hour and a half. You know, in a 3-credit course, 3 credit hours means 3 hours in the course each week. So in terms of lecture, right, lecture videos or reading the book, I would put that at 3 hours a week, 1.5 hours for Tuesday and Thursday. And then another 3 hours each day for doing the assignments, at a minimum. Okay? And that's just standard expectations for all courses. I do not think that I give more homework or heavier assignments than other courses. Okay? And I'm going to give you a lot of support throughout. Also, there's tons of office hours. If you come into my office hours and you ask questions about the assignments, I'm going to tell you the answers, and we can work through them together. I care about you learning the stuff, not about getting everywhere by yourself. I'm going to support you. The other teaching assistants are going to support you. So that's the story. Title IX, citizenship, land acknowledgement. These are all important stuff. I'm just not going to read them because you can all read. All right. At the bottom here, there's really nothing very interesting, except you may want to read this short guide about asking smart questions. It's not required for this course, but it may help you generally in your life. One thing that I often find when I try to ask a smart question is, in order to put in enough context and enough understanding into a question so that it can be well answered, I often answer the question myself. So that is an advantage to asking a smart question. But also you will help me. For example, don't write 3 paragraphs and put your question in the middle of the 3rd paragraph. Okay, put your question right up top and then give it some supporting, documentation or whatever. Attach your Quarto document. If you're working on R code and you've got a document you're working on, include it in the email so that I can look at it and realize, oh, yeah, I've got a comma out of place or something obvious, right? That's what this says here. If you get an error message, paste it into the email, okay? Give me all the context that I need to help you. I want to help you. The last thing on the page is about Unicode. So ASCII and Unicode, this is computer stuff. So ASCII is the basic character set that is available from your keyboard directly, all the letters and symbols. Unicode is an extension to ASCII, which includes characters from other cultures, anything with acrostics, those accents above letters or below letters, anything that's not Latin, basically. All your emojis, those are all Unicode, right? But one common problem when you copy and paste code from a website is that when it's rendered on the website, those straight up and down quotes become curly quotes, and R is not going to interpret a curly quote. It doesn't know what those are. It knows what straight up and down quotes are that come from hitting Shift quote from your keyboard. So if you have copied and pasted something and it doesn't compile, you can search using regular expressions. Reg-X is for regular expressions. For this search key, which is basically all of the characters above the ASCII set. ASCII forms the first set of 256 characters from 0 to 255, and then beyond that is Unicode. And so this searches for all Unicode. And if it finds it, then you can realize, oh, there's curly quotes. Delete that, replace it with straight quotes or whatever it is. The other is dashes, like a long dash versus just a hyphen. Okay, that's the website, guys. So, see you in the next video.